Good evening, folks, and a very more TV, the official podcast of St Albans Dinamo Football Club. My name is Tonchi Prusats. I'm your host and producer of DinamoTV, and it is my absolute pleasure that we are coming to you for Season 2. This is going to be a fantastic year this year, without a shadow of a doubt, and we look forward to bringing you all the news, views, and the latest information from Churchill Reserve. That's right. This year, Churchill Reserve is going to be playing host to a 50th anniversary of our great club. Last year was the Australian-Croatian soccer tournament, and this year, well, it is going to be even bigger than that. It's going to be our 50th anniversary, if that's at all possible. Tonight, folks, we've got a big show lined up for you. We've gone straight to the top, and we're going to have an exclusive interview with the president himself, Ilija Dragicevic, and with the NPL Victoria competition just around the corner. The pre-season is certainly hotting up in a major way. So we will also be having an interview with the Senior Football Operations Manager, Jason Zeri, who's now entering his 11th year in the role. That's amazing, isn't it? And he'll give us all the latest information and details of what's happening with regards to the senior football operations side of things ahead of the NPL Victoria season, which kicks off in early February. Let's go straight to the news desk, because there's a bit of news happening as well behind the scenes. Welcome back to the news desk here at DinamoTV. Well, let's kick off first of all with the membership drive. The membership drive is in top gear at the moment, and you can get your memberships by turning up to the club at the bar. There's three various membership categories: platinum membership, gold membership, and the ordinary membership as well. So do yourself a favor. Make sure you sign up as a member. Make sure you sign up your entire family as members, because it's going to be a big year this year. Now, kicking off the off-field activities on the Australia Day long weekend, or kicking off the Australia Day long weekend, is our first social function of the year, the buffet night. It's on Friday, the 24th of January, next Friday, from 7 p.m. Tickets are $35 for adults, kids under 16, $20, and kids under 10, a bargain, just $15. You will need to message Anna on 0401 5005 100 to book, because bookings are essential. What's on the menu, you ask? Well, there it is on the screen. Lamb, chicken schnitzel, salt and pepper, squid, garlic, prawn, sarma, scallop potatoes, desserts, and there will be also live music from Grupa Accord. This weekend, if you're not doing anything, go down the highway, down the Princess Highway to Geelong, to Alco Park, where the this year's I&D Pre-Season Club Championship will be staged. Over 2 days, North Geelong Warriors will be running this event on the Saturday and on the Sunday. All of our Dinamo teams will be in action, all junior boys NPL teams, as well as our under-19s, under-23s, and of course our senior team. So games will be kicking off at 2 p.m. Stay tuned to our social media platforms, and we'll be able to give you a good indication of when those games are being played. Well, folks, without further ado, it's time for our first guest of the 2025 season, and that will be coming up after this very short break. Well, it's a pleasure and an honour to kickstart Season 2 of DinamoTV and Season 2025 with the man himself. We've gone to the very top, the president, Ilija Dragicevic. Ilija, welcome to DinamoTV and welcome to Season 2025.
Thanks, Tonchi, and welcome back also to yourself,
Thank you. It's a
and
pleasure
looking
and
forward
an
to a
honour.
good year ahead.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge year. We'll talk about the year coming up, the 50th anniversary. Obviously, there's so much going to happen. But let's have a look back at the year that was 2024. Gosh, it was tense as far as the senior men's team, but triumphant in the end. But everything, I guess, culminated with the Australian Croatian soccer tournament. What a weekend that was! People are still talking about it, and mate, you must have been one very, very happy president to watch everything unfold over those months and then for it to be so successful in the end.
Well, look, I remember the year pretty well, not only for that tournament, but if you just look back at the start of the year, and it's a very long one for us because it starts usually our year as a committee and as presidents and senior regarding the senior team starts in really October, November. So it was a full year because the tournament was right at the end of September. So, but it is a year of mixed emotions and highs and lows. And when you look at our senior team, that didn't get off to a very good start. And they're one of the things that we really, really want to get better at, our senior side of our soccer club. So we improved that with the changes, and we saw the results that happened in that last 6-7 weeks of the tournament of the year, which led into a very, very good soccer tournament for us as a club.
And it's what the club needed, isn't it? I mean, I know producing DinamoTV last year, you could, no matter what you did with the senior team struggling, there's a real kind of feeling of doom and gloom around the club. But as soon as the senior team started picking things up, and with the arrival of Cameron Watson, Lee Broxson, some of the other players as well, mate, things just turned around, and there's a real.
Well, I still remember the last game against Green Gully at home, and that was one of the games of that will stick in the memories of a lot of people. I think before the game we probably had about 300 people in here in this hall prior to kickoff, and the atmosphere here on that day, because we were safe. We knew that we were safe. We knew that we were going again, and we knew the Crow tournament was coming, and it was just an electric and excitement around the club that hasn't been around for a long, long time.
Yeah. Now, that tournament, wow, like we said, it was such an amazing, weekend, but it culminated in that weekend because there's so much months of preparation. But just off camera, you were telling me some of the staggering statistics that came from that weekend. Tell us more.
Look, where do I start with a tournament that really?
First of all, how many volunteers were there in total?
Over 300. Over 300. I know we purchased over 300 Blue Crew shirts, and I know that they were all got distributed out to the volunteers. And we did have some last minute cancellations. Things came up in life, and people couldn't help. But genuinely, that list grew to maybe 320, 330. And because of those people, because of those volunteers, that's what made the tournament. That's what made the tournament so successful. And I'm so proud and happy to be a part of a club that's got so many volunteers that are willing to contribute their time and willing to be part of the club.
And yet volunteers come from all parts of the community, the Croatian community, the wider Croatian community here, not just in the western suburbs, but all over Victoria. And I think for me, coming into the club and seeing the way things operated, for me it was that community feel about the club, about Dinamo, and the Dinamo family just growing and embracing so many different Croatian community organisations and people from other clubs and organisations.
I think it's really important to acknowledge every other club, not only not our local clubs with the Knights and North Geelong, Strathmore's, even the amateurs. The amateurs were such a big part of this, and the guys from Dandenong who travelled up and gave their time, they all contributed and made that tournament one to remember for a very long time. And the suppliers, when you talk about Slavonia Butchers, which is a big part of our club, the effort that they put in. We cooked over 3 tons of food. 3 tons.
Yeah.
We admittedly, set out to cook 2 ton of food, and quickly Friday morning almost ordered another over 800 kilos of food to get us through, because we realised that Thursday was that big, and that wasn't anticipated to be as big as it was, which meant on Friday morning we were already cooking Saturday's food.
Oh, wow.
And
Yep.
that was alarm bells for us because it was a public holiday.
Yeah.
But suppliers like Slavonia, Bazoom,
Yes.
the guys were absolutely amazing to replenish all that food and drink that was being consumed on the Thursday, on the Friday, and then our volunteers they sort of stepped it up too. And look, it's the hard work and planning that really made
Yeah.
everything go as smooth as it did.
Yep.
And then the community's involvement all over, the people that came from all over Australia. Look, we can't be prouder of the tournament that we put on. And I think that everyone acknowledges just how good it was, and we're really proud of that.
And I guess that shows it showed certainly on that weekend. Croatian clubs coming from all walks of life, and the most amazing thing for me is the non-Croatians that come here and that have been involved with the club here. They just feel part of the family. I mean,
and they're amazed at what our community has.
Yeah,
it's something that it's grown. The tournament's grown. It's a credit to all those clubs all over Australia that have made it an important part of their club. So it's really important to understand that we already know that it's going to Gold Coast next year. We already know that we have a minimum of 2 teams going to Gold Coast. We already know that we need to pay for that accommodation, get our teams ready for that, and it's only January.
Yeah,
but that is a priority at our club, and I think at a lot of other clubs it is a priority also.
Yeah. Now, last year, for me personally, one of the things I really, really enjoyed putting together and interviewing was the living legends, and it helped me kind of get to know the history of the club even better. And I mean, the club, there we go, 1975, 50-year anniversary this year in 2025. Now we're looking forward to the year ahead. What are some of the plans to celebrate our fantastic club?
Well, I think apart from the week to week and month to month stuff that happens regularly, and that all our families have come to know, that'll continue.
Yeah.
So our buffet nights.
Let's talk about that because that's coming up.
So we got
tell us all the details.
Next Friday is our first one for the year, and it also gives people to come in and sign up memberships for 25. So look, the numbers are already good. They're people get on the phone, they book their tables of 8, of 10, of 15. And the next thing you know, we've got 200 odd people in here, and the buffet's a success.
So we can fit a lot more in.
Yeah, well, look, and then being a 50th year, we've got a gala on in the middle of the year, which for the first time this year, we will be partnering up with Dinamo Zagreb. They'll be coming down, and they will be here during that period. So there will be a camp on for the kids, and then they will join us for the gala.
Yeah, and that promises to be a huge event in July, I believe.
Yes, it is. Yep.
And on that same weekend, the big Croatian derby against Melbourne Knights as well. So certainly something to look forward to. If you can't wait until the Croatian soccer tournament, Gold Coast. As soon as that was announced, that there's a lot of people certainly will be enjoying that. It's always something special about that going up to the Gold Coast. But overall, mate, how you've learned from a very busy year last year. You had a great team, but I guess with all due respect, a good president is as good as the people around him, of course. Have you had any people come and join the committee after the soccer tournament?
Yes, we have. We have, which is a really good point. I think that tournament did bring people together.
Yeah.
People that normally probably wouldn't sit and have a drink together, people that normally wouldn't have a meal together, have formed new friendships and have formed, to be part of the club now. So we do have additional people in our junior structure. We do have a couple of additions in our senior structure. And look, and that's all, helping us grow. and with that come new ideas. New people come in,
Yes.
and they think about how they can have a impact on this club, and we listen to that, and we listen to what people want to have at their club, and then we give it a go.
Yeah. Getting back to the tournament, because I just can't stop raving enough about the tournament. But one of the things that the tournament left us, apart from that legacy of a lot of people getting back involved with the club or having, catching up with people that haven't for a long, long time, was the infrastructure improvements around the ground. That electronic scoreboard, I think, was a massive hit at the
Oh,
tournament,
look,
but
Tonchi.
also the pavilion. And since then, we've also got the pitch one as well, the
Yeah.
refurbishment of
So
pitch
look,
one.
to put a value on what happened 3 weeks out before the tournament at this club, and I'll describe it to you quickly. It was 3 weeks
Mm-hmm.
of 30 to 40 guys here, 6 days a week.
Mm.
Um, our sponsors, I&D, Ivan and Kathy Filipovic, their generosity and support, with all those volunteers that were here working, with the other sponsors. Evolution was amazing in doing all the electrical stuff,
Mm.
image works, the scoreboard, and all the work that came with that, and everyone pulling together. Look, I'd say we're somewhere between $200,000 and $300,000 up
Wow.
from what happened in that 3 week
Yeah.
period, which actually helped so much for the tournament. We painted bricks here, we painted roofs here,
Yeah.
we painted grass and concrete, and we turned this place upside down to present it to the community that was coming.
Yeah. And you did a damn good job, that's for sure. What's your hopes for 2025 for the club?
First and foremost, I'd love to say that our senior team is going to be in a better way this year.
Mm-hmm.
We've recruited well, we believe. We've recruited younger, quicker, stronger, and I think smarter. And we've probably dropped the average age in our team, which I think is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is a young man's sport, and I think the guys that we have now have all hit those 40, 50 games, and I think they're all ambitious, to succeed and have a good year.
Excellent. Well, it certainly is going to be an exciting year. And this weekend, we talk about the community coming together down in Geelong, the I&D Challenge Cup. And once again, we talk about I&D, Kathy and Ivan Filipovic. They've done so much for the Croatian community clubs, but that's another opportunity for the community to come together. But and shortly after that, it's not too long, and then the season starts in the NPL Victoria competition.
Yeah, and we're off to Dandy City for round one, which is again, round one was scheduled to be here at Fox Street, but with the works that are happening right now, which is really exciting for the club, a new pitch, new fencing. It really will change the way our seniors play. I think it'll really improve for them.
Will the coaches' boxes stay the same? I think the boys on the hill want transparent ones so that they can see through that.
Well, look, it's well deserved for our club to have a brand new pitch.
Yeah,
it's something that we've been very patiently waiting for in the background. And let me just tell you that within a few months, maybe probably by the middle of the year, we'll have some more exciting news about other things happening at this club.
Well, if that doesn't get you excited about season 2025, then nothing will, folks. And here's an opportunity to show your excitement by becoming a member of St Albans Dynamo at the buffet night. And there's going to be lots and lots of opportunities before the season kicks off. So we look forward to season 2025 and everything that it brings the club. And we certainly are looking forward to that 50th anniversary later on in the year. Ilya, all the best.
Thank you, and thank you to all the guys that supported the club in 2024. I hope you are all back. And there are guys interstate that I know personally, and they're always supporting our club. And thank you to all those guys, all over Australia that reach out, say g'day, and send their best wishes to the club.
Awesome. You're watching DinamoTV. We're going to take a very short break. When we return, I caught up with the Senior Football Operations Manager, now in his 11th year at the club. I think that's past the long service leave phase. Jason Zeri. That's coming up shortly after this break. Don't go away. Well, it's season 2 of DinamoTV, and a man who is very, very well known to season 1 of DinamoTV, the senior football operations manager Jason Zeri. Jason, welcome to 2025. What a season it's going to be.
Yeah, exciting time ahead. It's great to be here and great to we're all looking forward to the upcoming season. A lot of work's been going on behind the scenes, obviously in the last couple of months. So yeah, can't wait to get to round one.
All right, well, let's talk about, before we talk about season 2025 and what's coming up, but mate, this is your 11th year at the club. You've gone well beyond the long service leave stage. What's it like just as the season approaches? Does it get easier? Does it get harder as you get, more and more into these pre-seasons? Do they get more and more intense as the years go by?
Oh, look, I don't think. Look, every pre-season is reasonably intense because you're obviously preparing most of the time. Whether it be a set of new players or new coaching staff and what have you. So, every pre-season is quite unique. I mean, obviously the fundamentals are the same, and the preparation and the goal in regards to getting the players ready for the start of the season is always the same. But obviously, working with different coaches and different staff over the years, every sort of coaching group has its slight little variations on pre-season preparation, and this year's been the same. It's obviously Cam and the staff's first pre-season at the club, and again they've brought their own little, taste to it all, and quite intense and quite detailed, which has been fantastic. And I think they've done a great job so far in preparing the team for round one.
Yeah, well, I guess with what he achieved and the players achieved towards the tail end of last season, when we looked dead and buried, and then all of a sudden it was like the phoenix rising from the ashes. We managed to string together a whole series of wins, and we looked really good. I guess that now kind of leads into this season, and maybe the expectation from the punters, especially the boys on the hill, might rise, but I guess rightly so. Cam's now got a full pre-season. He's bought some of the players that he wants. There must be, in the dressing room at least, there must be a real air of excitement, a real anticipation.
Yeah, look, absolutely. And I think, obviously, again, touching slightly on the tail end of last year, obviously finished off quite strongly. And I think, that belief has led into this pre-season. Obviously, there's been quite a big changeover in the playing group, which, there's a lot of new faces, which is nice and fresh and fantastic. But look, the expectations and the standards, when Cam and Billy came in halfway through last year, the one thing they did immediately, they put their own obviously spin on things, and their expectations were at a certain level, and that's carried right through, and it's been evident in pre-season. And obviously it's been quite enjoyable, watching the pre-season with them, because again, the attention to detail has been, immaculate right from the start. And, look, I think we're quite fortunate at the club to have, the likes of, Cameron Watson, Billy Selesky, Tommy Pondoliak, and even our goalkeeper coach, Tony Bellica, who have all got, A-League and international experience. And then obviously what our other staff as well in Stefan and Johnny in the medical side of things. So, really when you look at that picture there, you got guys who've played a really high standard, and then obviously bringing that experience to this playing group.
Speaking of some of those names, Tony Bellica, who's had goalkeeping experience coaching at Melbourne Knights, and obviously, as you said, Tommy Pondoliak, we all know Tommy, who was a senior women's coach, but he's had extensive experience in the A-League, of course, with Victory. And now he's coming on board as well. That team, that's a really, really cohesive team, and a really well-functioning team. And has it sort of shown in the level of, or the caliber of on-field effort as far as the squad is concerned? So has it pushed them a little bit harder?
Yeah, look, I think the one thing that's been quite evident, again, this pre-season, I mean, again, we've experienced it a little bit last year when these guys came on board, but I think just looking at it as a whole now from a pre-season point of view as well, again, as I just mentioned earlier, their attention to detail, but their expectations are high. And it's obviously made everyone step up a gear, both on and off the field, and that's our standards have lifted, because they've done that, and the players are only going to be guided by what the coaching group's doing, and as I said, so far, it's quite evident in what they're doing.
Yeah, look, the pre-season obviously started, I guess, with the Australian-Croatian soccer tournament last year. The boys had a bit of a break, then they came back for that, and then obviously there was a bit more of a break. Take us through how the pre-season unfolded after the tournament.
Yeah, look, once the Crow tourney finished, obviously the Crow tourney was quite well after the season finished. And that gave the coaching group again an opportunity maybe to perhaps look at some of these younger guys as well, which they did. And then obviously we had a break and started all over again. But in that period, there was a lot of work done with trying to recruit new players, obviously working out who we're going to let go and so forth. And so as mentioned in probably previous episodes, there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, even when there's nothing happening on the park. So there was a lot of work done in regards to securing players, and then obviously, come first week of November or second week of November, we had hit the ground running, and it was great to see that, usually pre-season, you might get kind of 60% of the squad or 70% of the squad, then there's a couple of lagging behind, but not this year. Like everyone, come first session, almost everybody was there, apart from a couple of guys that were signed late, but you suddenly had 95% of your squad there from the start.
Yeah. Now the main pitch has become a construction zone, and there was some footage of that on our Facebook page just last week, and it's still very dusty out there, and it certainly looks like there's still a fair bit of work involved. How has that impacted on the first team squad? Has the squad been able to train on pitches 2 and 3, which, by the way, are looking absolutely incredible, or have they had to go off-site somewhere?
No, look, it's been a little bit of a combination. We did, I think, 2 or 3 sessions and played a couple of practice matches, or one practice match at Melton Phoenix's ground, and they've been kind enough to assist us there. We've played a couple of practice matches away, and we've got our first one here tomorrow on Wednesday against Avondale at home. But look, apart from that, all the training sessions, most of them have been done on pitch 3, which has been great. Yeah. And how exciting it is to look at the works going on pitch 1. I think we've all been praying for this for the last probably 10, 15 years about getting a new pitch, and we finally are. And it's, quite exciting for the club to be able to obviously have a top quality pitch for the start of the season, or coming into the season.
Yeah, and what are the plans? When will the first home game be?
We play Dandy City away round 1. I believe it's on a Sunday, and then we play most of our, I think, first 6 rounds away. But saying that, there's work obviously being done behind the scenes at the moment to still play a couple of home games. They might be on pitch 3, which obviously will get up to scratch for those games, with potentially one of the other home games being switched to an alternative venue for that period of time.
Yeah. Of the new recruits, who has really caught your eye? Who have been some of the players that we can probably expect quite a fair bit in season 2025?
Yeah, look, there's been obviously a fair few new players, and I think, look, they all obviously bring their own special touches to the team. And I think Cam's been quite vigilant in regards to the recruitment process and who he's brought on board. One of the things that we always look at is character and so forth. And mate, I've never seen a change room with so many new players sort of gel so quickly, which is really, really pleasing. And that's a testament to Cam and Billy and the start coaching staff for getting these guys on board. But look, the other thing is they get the job done. I guess they fight, again, seeing sort of some changes where the players are quite receptive to instructions a lot quicker, which has been fantastic. But look, if you ask me who stands out of the group, look, they're all good in their own way. We've got Michael Peters that's come on board. He's obviously a proven goal scorer. Unfortunately, he was at Port Melbourne and we picked him up from Green Gully. He finished the tail end at Green Gully, but again, he's a quality player going through a bit of an injury program rehabilitation at the moment. But again, his class. Mikael Platt, the striker, he arrived from the UK about 2 weeks ago now. And again, you can see straight away that he's a different class. So they're just a couple to mention. Fletcher McFarlane from Hume, again, great leader, playing in that midfield role. Again, adds that little bit of extra. And then, obviously there's others as well. They're just a couple that I've mentioned out of the whole group. But look, everyone that we've brought on board have been, have really shown what they can do, obviously in pre-season. And obviously the other thing is too, which is fantastic, again, pleased to talk about some of the youth players coming through from our under 23s again, with a couple of more of them getting, pushed up to senior ranks officially for this season.
And Jace, that probably would have been one of your highlights. I know, speaking to Tuna and to Berkey, the coaches and assistant coaches respectively of the 23s last year, for them, one of their season's highlights was seeing so many of the younger guys coming up through the ranks and becoming fully fledged senior players. For you, that must have also been quite an achievement, seeing those younger players mould or integrate into the senior team lineup.
Yeah, look, absolutely. It's again, I've mentioned it many times on this show that, it's part of the club's DNA. We look at some of these photos behind me and some of the players that have played here, not only played here, but also played juniors here. And that's part of what we do. And I think we do well. And again, there's two new inductees this year from the 23s, but I won't announce who they are. I'll let that be done on Facebook, because
let that be something to whet everyone's appetite.
Yeah. But look, the squad's coming along nicely. We've got roughly 3.5 weeks out of the season starting, and we're pretty much there with the squad.
And finally, mate, your own portfolio seems to have expanded now with the introduction of the under-19s team. Does that fall directly under your kind of your responsibilities as well? And is that now fully fledged part of the senior team setup?
Yeah, look, it is. Yeah, so the seniors, the under 23s and 19s come under, I guess my role in the club and football ops. But the 19s are also have a very close affiliation with the NPL juniors as well, because again, that's part of integrating perhaps some of the under 17s up to under 19s this year. Look, it's an added task. But look, we've got Berkey and Danny looking after the under 19s, and mate, they're great to work with, and obviously 20 under 23s. So again, we were talking about the coaching staff before, but it's just a great group overall, and we all work so closely together, and hopefully that'll lead to some good things this season.
Well, whilst on the subject of the junior coaches, Ian Burke, who's the newly appointed coach of the under-19s, and also I guess we need to mention Jason Trefiro as well, the junior technical director. Here's a scoop, folks. They are going to be subjects of our interviews, our feature interviews in next week's show. But until then, we've got the IND Cup happening this week, or the IND Challenge Cup in Geelong. All the teams will be in action, so there's another opportunity to see the boys in action. But Jason, all the very best for season 2025, and on a personal note, season 11 at the club.
11,
Wishing you all the very best, and may 2025 be a lot less tense than what 2024 was.
Yeah, well, I say this every year. My hair gets greyer every year. So, but no, look, it's thanks again having me on today, and we'll look forward to a successful 2025.
Folks, we're going to be back very, very shortly, and we will wind up the season return episode of DinamoTV. Don't go away. Welcome back to DinamoTV, and that was our very, very first episode for season 2025. Just a little reminder about our buffet night next Friday night on the 24th of January. All the details are there on your screen. And remember, bookings are essential, so do message Anna if you haven't already to get your tickets, 0401 505 100. Also, be aware that this weekend, all of our boys' junior NPL teams and our senior men's teams all travel down the highway to Alco Park, home of the North Geelong Warriors, our sister club, for the annual IND Pre-Season Club Championship, which will involve all of our sister clubs, Melbourne Knights, North Geelong. Of course, we are going to be involved, and Dandenong City. Next week, folks, we will be back at our regular time of Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Today, we've come out on Thursday because of last night's practice game, and all of those videos and interviews were pre-recorded prior to last night. My name is Tonchi Prusats, and it has been an absolute pleasure to be in the host's chair. Until next week, really looking forward to catching up with you all. Bye-bye.